the best part about the book was speaking to guys who pulled the hoops on for real. And that particular era, guys who maybe didn't make the big time would certainly have made it now. But certainly, you know, to see the posters and see guys like Danny McGrain and Davie Hay talking about it, it's just a thrill for a fan of the club like myself.
The question that I'm sure that maybe a lot of people would have is, as a Celtic fan, what gave you the idea? Obviously a lot of people in certainly of a certain era would remember either the Quality Street gang or the name. What gave you the idea of actually researching it to that extent and putting it into book form?
Well, I'm from a small village in Fife, and you know, growing up there, all I was ever told about as a Celtic fan was the great George Connelly, and as well as an incredible skills and everything else he did, just the mystique behind the guy, because he quit the game so young. So he was a character who I was always intrigued by, and I read his book, and there was a section at the end where Davie and Davie Hay and George were just chatting about the Quality Street kids, and I thought it was fantastic. And at that time, I was probably aware of maybe 6 of them. And there was a picture of the Quality Street gang, or a version of the gang, from 1968, and I decided that I was going to track them down and interview them and try and put it together as a book. So that's how it started. And that particular picture, I couldn't even name the 11 guys in it. But after meeting with Danny McGrain and Ward White, who's in the room tonight, I was able to identify the other guys and track them down one by one. So I stopped them until they gave up and spoke to me.
That was a question I was going to ask, and I'm sure that was you know, how did you actually stop them, but how easy, obviously there were some players that you would have known or had easy access to, how hard or difficult was to actually track all of them, because I say there can be very few, if any, that you actually missed out on and actually writing the book.
I think there was maybe 2 or 3 that I didn't manage to find. But the internet's a great thing, and I don't know how people were able to write books like that prior to the advent of online sites. But once you've spoken to 2 or 3 of them, because they were a gang, they're still in touch with 2 or 3 others, and from there it kind of grew arms and legs. It took me probably 2.5 years to speak to a couple of them, but as I say, I got them in the end, and 1 or 2 of them I still don't know where they are.
And just finally for now, Paul, obviously this is your first book. How easy or hard did you find the whole process in terms of doing the research, writing the book, obviously having to balance work, family, etc.?
I had absolutely no idea what it took to actually write a book from start to finish, and so it was trial and error. But there was a lot of guys that I met during the writing of it who assisted me. Obviously, once Celtic were involved, these were a great help. But other guys like John Murray, who's also in the room tonight, was a great support. And really, just once I figured out, you know, the kind of structure of that, it kind of started falling into place. And then looking to try and get some good pictures for the book as well. And speaking to a guy who I dedicated the book to, Hughie Burke, who unfortunately passed away just a few months ago. And his archive collection is tremendous, so that was a real thrill to have a look through those, because a lot of the pictures have never been seen.
Okay, we'll let Paul rest his legs just now. As I say, when Paul gets back up, if anybody's got any questions at all, just give you a bit of time to think about them. I'd like to say it's a well-deserved applause for the work that Paul's put in. So what we'll have is a wee gap just now, and fingers crossed that technology's work. We'll show a short kind of Celtic video from that era.